Hello everyone. Let us now discuss how can we solve this problem. Set matrix zeros. Given an m by n integer matrix, if an element is 0, set its entire row and columns to zeros. But here we have a conditions. You must do it in place, right? That means we should not take another matrix like a duplicate matrix. So we are not allowed to take another matrix. But we can take another matrix and change, and uh, if given as matrix and our new matrix name is new matrix, then if we do that after this, then we can make it like in place, but this will not work. But we need to get an intuition so that we'll be using something like so. Let us start this. Here we got a 0, so everything in this column will be 0 and everything in this row will be 0. But what my intuition is, just take two loops for I is equal to 0, I is less than m, for j is equal to 0, j is less than n, and if matrix of ij is equal to 0, then we would call set row 0 and set column 0. But if you see here, I would say the row is ith row and the column is jth column, and we would also send matrix. But the problem comes because if imagine after changing this we have set our matrix to 0 0 0 0 0 something like this, and the other elements are ones, right? So at this point I have set all these elements to zeros. So first we call this and we have set these elements to zeros, right? Now after that I will call for this as it is 0, and it will make this as 0, this as 0, and then it will go here it is 1, and here it will go and it is 0, so it will also set this and this also to 0. So this is the problem with this at this point by setting row and column to 0 there itself. Let us look at another example. Here we have a 0, then we have set all the this row as 0 and this column as 0, and there even if changing this into 0, we will not consider this as a 0. So what we will do is use a rows vector of int which stores which rows should made, this row should be made as 0, and this here I got a 0, so this row, right, this row should be made 0, and here this column should be made 0, this column should be made 0. If I change something like this column should be made 0, this column should be made 0, and for this 0 this row should be made 0 and this row should be made 0, right? So I would use vector of int rows and also columns. This will store which rows and columns need to be changed to 0. Now for int I is equal to 0 and I is less than m, for int j is equal to 0, j is less than n, if matrix of ij is equal to 0, then rows dot pushback I, right? Rows dot pushback I and columns dot pushback j. So how does our let us see, let us say after that for auto row in rows, what we'll do is call for set row 0 call with row and matrix, right? And then same for auto column in columns, we have stored all the columns that need to be set to 0. Set column 0 to column and matrix, right? So this is how you solve the problem. And if you need what is the set row 0 and what is the set column 0, we'll be having void set row 0, and here we are going with int row and int vector of vector int matrix, right? Matrix here we are changing, so pass by reference. Now see here we have row, right? So we already have a row, but we only need to change. So already have a row and we only need to change the columns. And how many, here we have a row, so starting from here going till here, so this is nothing but m and this is nothing but n, right? So n is equal to matrix of 0 dot size. So for int something like I is the same, but here we are only changing j, right? So start from j, and j is less than n j plus plus. Just set matrix of matrix of ij to 0, and do the same for set column 0. Void set column 0. We got int column and matrix, right? So we got column and matrix. What we need to do is int I is equal to 0 and j is equal to column and m is equal to, here we need the number of rows, right? So for int I is already there, I is less than m, sorry, m and j plus plus. So matrix of ij is equal to 0. So this is how you solve this problem. And if you like this video, do share to friends and do subscribe to my channel. And I have given the code link in the description. Go and check it. Thank you.